everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful week. Welcome to another episode of InfoScope. I'm your host, Hannah Kim. We are back once again with some of the latest from the IT and science world. Let's take a quick look at some of today's stories. The Isabuho, Korea's first large-scale marine science research vessel, was recently launched from Busan. The Isabuho is capable of covering over 18,000 kilometers for up to 5 days at sea, and InfoScope has all the exclusive details for you in just a moment. Now, in other news, on October 30th, 3 astronauts from Russia, the United States, and Japan returned to Earth after 115 days in the International Space Station. What sorts of experiments did they conduct in space? Let's find out right now in the first segment. Here's Briefing Scope. 3 astronauts have returned to Earth after 115 days at the International Space Station. They conducted some 40 different experiments in the space station, including those that look at the effects of space on biological substances. One of the returning astronauts sequenced DNA in space for the first time ever. The Isabuho, Korea's first 5,000-ton class marine science research vessel, was launched last month after more than 6 years of development. The ship's first task will be to research ocean circulation that causes climate change and marine organisms that live around hot water vents. Seoul National University opened the doors to its Nuclear Energy Policy Center. The center will act as a think tank that focuses on safe nuclear power and will also look into effective technologies for tackling spent fuel rods. Now, moving on to the next part of our show, what part of a plant would you consider the brain? Well, new research shows that a plant's roots acts as the plant's brains because it controls the growth and the development. We'll have more details on how this works in just a bit, but let's shift gear a little. The number of natural disasters is on the rise. In fact, the density of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere exceeded the milestone of 400 parts per million. So the question is, how can we tackle the issue of natural disasters? We have a possible solution coming up next on Industry Inside.
With the ice caps melting, polar bears are losing their habitat. Typhoons and hurricanes are blowing stronger, and droughts and heat waves are becoming severe. The amount of carbon dioxide emissions started increasing significantly following industrialization, and the density of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere now exceeds 400 parts per million, once considered the upper limit at which climate change could be tackled by man.
Well, certainly some disasters, particularly those related to our climate system, we expect to become more intense. We will have more very hot days, more heavy precipitation events leading to flooding.
Prominent figures from science academies and councils around the world gathered in Korea to discuss the growing strength of natural disasters. Experts in climate change state that it is unlikely that carbon dioxide output will go down due to our dependence on carbon-based fuels.
Carbon zero way. It is not enough to use solar or wind or hydro. Hydro is almost exhausted.
One solution is harnessing the infinite power of the sun. Solar panels can be launched in space to gather solar energy, which can be converted to electricity and transmitted to Earth. There is also a new technology under development that is inspired by photosynthesis and creates hydrogen and oxygen.
Friendly, and it imitates nature simply. What nature is doing is exactly the same, except that.
금년은 특별히 재난에 관련된 사항하고 그다음에 CO2에 의한 문제 때문에 생기는 미래 에너지를 어떻게 우리가 해결할 것인가 하는 걸 중점적으로 다루었습니다.
The experts explain that disasters are the consequence of man's destruction of nature, adding that science and technology is the only way to stop the rise of temperatures and tackle natural disasters. When plants are exposed to sunlight, they gain energy through photosynthesis. As the leaves play a major role in the process, it's always been assumed that the roots simply provide nutrients and physically support the plant. Now, new research shows that the roots play a much bigger role. The sunlight reaches the roots like how light goes through a fiber optic cable. Subsequently, special proteins in the roots are activated, sending chemical signals to all parts of the plant. The roots analyze the information from both above and below ground and control growth and development, much like how the animal brain works.
뿌리가 우리가 생각하는 것보다는 훨씬 더 중요한 기능을 하고 있고 식물의 어떤 컨트롤 허브 기능이 줄기 잎 쪽보다는 뿌리에 있을 가능성이 높다는 사실을 지금 보여주고 있습니다.
The researchers expect to significantly increase agricultural productivity by using the proteins in the roots or the roots themselves. Furthermore, this research is expected to contribute greatly toward the hypothesis that the roots act as the brain for plants, as proposed by Charles Darwin 200 years ago. Placebos are treatments that have no medical effect. The placebo effect refers to the phenomenon of how patients given an ineffectual treatment show improvement in their conditions. The belief that the medication is real and that it will cure the illness plays a role in the process. Now, new research shows that despite being told beforehand that the medications are placebos, the patients still show signs of improvement. A team of researchers from Harvard Medical School targeted 97 patients with chronic lower back pain and explained the placebo effect to them. Subsequently, half of the patients were given placebos in conjunction with the regular treatment, while the other half received regular treatment only. After 3 weeks, the group administered fake pills along with regular medications reported 30% less pain, while the patients who received only regular treatment experienced 9 to 16% less pain. Despite knowing that the medications were fake, their trust in the doctors affected the part of the brain that controls pain.
It's about the therapeutic encounter. Do you feel supported by your healthcare provider? Do you feel understood? Do you trust your healthcare provider? Do you feel that he or she is on your side and they got your back?
The researchers hope that this study can help find ways to reduce pain in everyday life.
All right, now it's time for Tech a Peek, where we look at some of the latest technologies and developments. First off, I'm sure you all know that constant exposure to carbon monoxide may be quite dangerous. However, new research has found that using minute amounts of carbon monoxide may potentially treat brain damage. But before that study, I'm sure that many of you have heard stories where numerous lab accidents or mistakes actually led to significant achievements. Well, one group of researchers in the United States accidentally stumbled upon a way of using a catalyst to turn carbon dioxide into fuel. Here's some more information on this next on Tech a Peek.
Scottish biologist Alexander Fleming is known for his carelessness, and one bacteria culture he left open for 2 weeks resulted in the development of mold. Before discarding the contaminated culture, he found that the bacteria near the mold was gone. That mold would become a component for penicillin, the world's first antibiotic. A team of researchers at the US-based Oak Ridge National Labs also stumbled upon an unexpected achievement. The researchers were looking for ways to break down carbon dioxide in order to reduce air pollution. Their intention was to use graphene as a catalyst to break down carbon dioxide and extract methanol, but they faced problems from the beginning. First, they were unable to create the graphene they needed and had to substitute it with a catalyst made of oxygen, copper, and nitrogen. But this substitute set the researchers up for a surprise. When a minute amount of current flowed through the catalyst, carbon dioxide transformed into ethanol. Even more surprising, unlike conventional methods, which require a variety of catalysts to transform carbon dioxide to ethanol, this new catalyst reduces that number to just one.
We were actually studying how to take carbon dioxide and convert it to what we thought was going to be methanol. It turned out to be ethanol, which was very scientifically interesting, and it was unexpected because we didn't think the catalyst we're working with would do the entire reaction on its own.
This discovery can reduce costs, but one drawback is its lower ethanol yield compared to conventional methods. If the researchers can find a way to boost efficiency, mass production of this catalyst will be viable. A fire at a construction site in Gimpo, Gyeonggi-do Province in September killed 4. The cause of death was excessive exposure to carbon monoxide. The victims died from breathing in carbon monoxide released by urethane foam used as an insulator. Carbon monoxide is a harmful gas emitted by vehicles or coal briquettes. However, new research shows that minute amounts of carbon monoxide can be used to treat brain damage. When a head is exposed to external shock, the brain swells and the affected area expands, resulting in traumatic brain injury. Carbon monoxide was found to heal the damaged area. Lab mice with traumatic brain injury were administered substances that generate carbon monoxide. It was equivalent to being exposed to 250 ppm of carbon monoxide for 1 hour. The researchers found that the cells surrounding the brain blood vessels were alive, generating cranial nerve stem cells. The stem cells propagated, and the damaged areas were healed.
일산화탄소를 준 분에서는 신경줄기세포가 특히 신경세포로 분화가 되었고요. 그로 인해서 인지 능력이나 운동 능력이 거의 정상치와 동일하게 회복이 되는 것을 확인하였습니다.
The researchers believe that carbon monoxide can be used to treat other brain disorders that arise due to loss of brain cells, such as strokes or Alzheimer's disease. The research and its results were published in the international academic journal Nature Medicine. These are cells that can be found in our body. Most cells tend to be around 15 to 30 micrometers, about 1/6 to 1/3 the width of a strand of hair. When a body is invaded by a virus or undergoes medical treatment, the cellular mass changes. In other words, if the cell's mass can be properly measured, doctors can find out if a patient is affected by a disease or if a medication is working properly.
저희가 암세포라든지 사람 피 내부에 속해 있는 혈구라든지 이런 질병이 생겼을 때 많이 증식을 할 수 있는 세포들 아니면 변화할 수 있는 세포들에 대해서 실제로 어떻게 변해가고 있는지 이런.
However, the technology involved requires complex procedures and high costs. Now, Korean researchers have selected glass tubes seen in labs to find a way to overcome these hurdles. A laser is shot at a thin glass tube to heat it up, letting the tube expand and vibrate at a fixed frequency. Cells are then placed in the vibrating tube, and depending on the cell's mass, the frequency of the vibration changes. By following the frequency shift, the cellular mass can be measured. This method is as effective as the currently existing methods, but the preparation process is simpler and costs are lower.
쉽게 구매할 수 있는 파트들만으로 유사한 성능을 가지는 그런 센서들을 만들 수 있었다는 게 모든 일반적인 연구실에서도 비슷한 컨셉의 디바이스를 만들 수 있다는 게 가장 큰 연구 개발의 의의라고 할 수가 있겠습니다.
Researchers say that if this can facilitate the process of measuring the mass of cells, the technology can be used to check the effectiveness of medications or the progress of a disease.
Although I find that last story fascinating, considering the fact that we have trillions of different types of cells in our bodies, I do hope that the researchers find a precise way to measure cell mass. Now, this marks the end of today's show. I hope that we brought you a lot of interesting and informative news. Remember that we will be back next week with even more from the IT and science world. Until then, keep yourselves warm, and I'll see you back next time. Goodbye, everyone.